Bear Down Bears fans, I am going to give you 3 keys to a Chicago Bears victory over the Cincinnati Bengals, and it starts right now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page because we do talk Chicago sports weekly. We're the only channel that's talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So make sure you get in tune with us and hit that bell so you know every time that we're posting live. Now, coming off of a tough week of football, I'm going to give you 3 keys, my 3 keys to a Bears victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, listen, it's going to be a tough game. This is a team that we kind of had pegged as a pretty much a win when we saw it coming into the season, and then we saw our team and we saw their team week 1. And I'll be honest with you, the biggest thing to me is they looked prepared. They looked prepared to come out and play versus the Minnesota Vikings, as we did not look prepared to come out and play versus the LA Rams. And so key number 1 falls on Matt Nagy 100%. Listen, I got to attack the scheme a little bit. Now, I did say on the show, listen, that's the most balanced game we've ever seen from Matt Nagy. The problem is it was balanced but short. It was balanced but short. I like that you called a game where you had a nice mix of run and pass, but for God's sakes, why do you go out and get guys with Olympic track speed? Why do you go out and get guys with above average speed if you're not going to throw a ball past 10 yards? We had 2 passes go past 10 yards last Sunday, and Matt Nagy's that's just unacceptable. And I understand the Rams are giving you more of a 5 DB set. They're throwing more out there so that you can run the ball, and I'm glad that you did take advantage of running the ball with David Montgomery. But listen, you have to attack deep. At a certain point, we saw safeties not even going into their back step because they knew you weren't going deep. They weren't even backpedaling because they knew you weren't going deep. That's when I'm fine with the first part. Listen, I said in my keys last week, lull them to sleep with the run. Have them come up. They came up. You never attacked over the top. You have to, at some point, take a deep shot with these guys. And I understand Andy Dalton is more limited. That comes down to the point of, hey, maybe it's time to put Justin Fields in, the guy that can put it up 40 to 50 yards and hit somebody in the hands. I mean, listen, I get that there's a lot he's got to learn, but the scheme to me that you called last week was 100% in favor of what Justin Fields can do. The scheme that Matt Nagy was calling last week was 100% in favor of what Justin Fields can do, in my opinion, more so over what Andy Dalton can do. And so, again, like I said, setting a guy up for failure. But here's my thing. If you're going to call these plays that are more suited to what Justin Fields can turn into a big play, then how about you allow Justin Fields to have a big play? How about you allow him to come into the game, even if it is with that in and out mess that you were doing last week that does get us the touchdown? Even if it is with that, how about you have him come in and he throws it up in that situation just in one play, because they didn't expect you to take a deep shot with Justin Fields in the game because they were all playing up on those plays. Matt Nagy has to try and attack downfield this week. A Bengals defense that is playing a little bit better, but I mean, honestly, still something that you could get after. I would like to see them kind of come with that same game plan of, listen, feed Montgomery, let Montgomery do what he's going to do, but also when they finally play up and they start to try and shut down that run, throw that thing up there. Let's see what he's got. Let's see. I mean, listen, even if it's Andy will give you 1 or 2 deep balls. They might be a little underthrown, but I mean, how the safeties were playing last week and how they'll probably come in playing this week, there's not going to be anybody over the top to take that ball away from Andy if he underthrows it a little bit. So to me, the biggest thing that the Bears have to do starting off week 1 is absolutely take more deep shots, at least more than 10 yards. At least more than 10 yards. You get me a few 15-yard passes in there, please. Matt, come on. Now, before I continue with the video, I want to know you guys' keys to a Bears victory. And if you're going to come in here with the, oh, it's prayer, it's Jesus, there is no hope for victory. I mean, listen, we know, but still, give me some keys to a Bears victory. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll be down in the comments talking with you as well. Key number 2 for me, gotta feed the beast again. Feed David Montgomery. The run was something that Cincinnati was kind of able to clamp down on last week, so it's something that you got to watch out for. I don't think that you can set David Montgomery up like you did last week, where, yeah, he still had a great game, but there were so many times where Matt early in that game kind of just tried to get the passing game going, really went away from him. Listen, you have to establish David early in this game or it's going to be tough for him to get going. Cincinnati's defense, not as bad as we thought they were coming into this season. I mean, they've really stepped up. I understand Matt wants to get this passing game going. I hate to tell, I listen, it's at a point where I'm starting to think maybe I'm catching up in the football world mentally, because clearly I'm seeing things that Matt's just not seeing. The run game inadvertently absolutely helps your passing game. You know what I'm saying? If you can get that run game going early, if you can kind of punch them in the mouth like the Bears were able to do before Matt really went away from it, or at least when he went away from it early, what you're able to do is now you get those DBs and everybody playing up to stop the run. If we're able to establish this run game early, guess what? It's going to make Andy Dalton's life easier because he'll have over-the-top options. You'll be able to get Allen Robinson, Marquise Goodwin, Darnell Mooney into positions where they're able to beat their man over the top, or they're able to get open over the top. That's what you want to see. We need to see this offense become more of a vertical offense, and that helps when David Montgomery is able to punch these guys in the mouth, and now all of a sudden he becomes the focal point of the team. I think that David Montgomery, especially in this game, is going to be somebody the Bears are going to have to absolutely lean on, and lean on heavy. And I mean, if we're to the point where we're going away from David again, I don't see a victory for the Bears coming out of this. I mean, this is a potent offense that you're going up against, and now you've got to try and match what they're able to do with a struggling defense on the other side, which leads me into key number three. Key number three for me. Listen, defense. Getting to Joe Burrow's not enough. We saw Joe Burrow get sacked 5 times last week. 5 times last week. And he pretty much still was able to get up and keep doing what he had to do. He's one of those rare guys that he can take a shot and he can keep going down the field with you. It's going to fall on Jalen Johnson this week. Jalen Johnson is going to be a big key to what the Chicago Bears do. My third key, Jalen Johnson, with some help from Eddie Jackson, hopefully, is going to have to be on his best game, because that relationship between Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow has not missed a beat. Everybody was worried about, oh, he can't catch the football. He said he can't catch the football. I think he can catch it pretty well. And you want to make this team as one-dimensional as possible. If you're able to take away Joe Burrow, being able to link up with Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd, those guys who both are going to be problems this season, I'll tell you this, now you can focus on a Joe Mixon, which is not an easy task to focus on, but you do have Akeem Hicks. I haven't heard the latest on Eddie Goldman yet. I don't know if he's planning on playing or not, but if you have Akeem Hicks and Eddie Goldman there, we know that that's a combination that is excellent at stopping the run. So if you're going to be able to stop the run at all, listen, you've got to slow down this passing game. I said on the show last night, quarterbacks going back the last 11 games have had a QBR of 98.6 or higher versus the Chicago Bears. That is unacceptable. That is just unacceptable. Like, you have to be able to slow down this passing game. Unfortunately, the Bears have really cut out a lot of their DBs and stuff like that, so it is going to fall on that line, still getting to Joe Burrow, kind of rushing him, making him make snap decisions, but Joe Burrow's proven to be pretty good at making those snap decisions. So Jalen Johnson has got to become the shutdown corner that the Bears are forcing him into position to be. Hopefully he can become that, and I think that if he's able to do that, then the Bears can at least make that offense one-dimensional, and it sits you in a better position to where, okay, now we just got to worry about those big boys up front slowing down Joe Mixon. And honestly, the Bears do a pretty good job at that. I mean, the Bears stifled a lot of the run for LA for most of that game until that game kind of got away from them late, and then the run started coming through at that point. But for the most of the game, the Bears' run defense looked pretty stifling, and so I think that that is going to be the key for the Chicago Bears. My number one key is going to be Jalen Johnson shutting down Jamar Chase, and we're going to see. Hopefully this all leads into a Chicago Bears victory at the end of the day. But I want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. What are your keys to a Chicago Bears victory over the Cincinnati Bengals? I'll be down there talking with you. As always, it is your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bears content. Click the links here or check the links in the description below. Also, make sure to cop some of the Bears merch ahead of Sunday. I almost said tomorrow's game. Ahead of Sunday's game. And make sure to hop into FanDuel with us. We are sponsored by FanDuel, so check the link in the description below so that you can sign up with us. We're trying to get 200 new users on FanDuel. If you guys are able to sign up with us, do put in the when it says the referral, put in Pat the Designer, all one word, so that people know that you're signing up with us. We appreciate the love. Hey, yo, Chicago, y'all stay safe out there, man. Peace.